Hello, everybody. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock. And in this episode, we're talking about M-Pox. And we're asking the question, is this COVID 2.0? And right off the top, I'll tell you that my answer is, I'm not sure there was a COVID 1.0. Here's what I mean. I don't mean that COVID isn't a thing. I've had it, you've had it, most of us have had it a few times. I also don't mean that people didn't die from it. We buried people at the church I work at because of COVID. And I don't mean it wasn't a horrific time to be a medical professional. It was. What I do mean, though, is it was a time that most of us weren't really looking into it ourselves. We were being driven by fear, and as a result, we shut a country down that in retrospect never should have been shut down in the first place. Overwhelmingly, the data on a sociological, spiritual, anthropological, economical, education, you can pick the area, we are learning we are worse off now for having shut the country down than we were before COVID. So I want to just caution you that as you hear about Mpox, which is short, by the way, for monkeypox. It's now no longer politically correct to call it monkeypox. We call it Mpox. That as you hear about this, you need to do two things. The first thing is pay attention to the facts yourself. Now, I read about Mpox and the rise of it in the world in an article in Newsweek. And the headline of the article would have made you believe that we are in the midst of a burgeoning pandemic happening all over the world. The headline made it sound like Mpox was spreading everywhere. But as you read the article, which I'm not sure they wanted you to do, here are the actual facts. Mpox routinely is an outbreak in Central Africa. For whatever reason, it's a part of the world that deals with this disease pretty regularly. It is also happening in Central Africa now, which is, by the way, terrible for the people of Central Africa, but it is relatively contained. This year, 2024, it's estimated that Mpox will affect 15,600 people and bring about 537 deaths. And that's awful. That's 537 people made in the image of God dying at the hands of a disease. But those numbers are globally. So in a globe of 7 billion people, 537 of them are going to die from this disease. More people will die from the flu. More people will die from pneumonia, from heart disease, from car accidents than will die from Mpox. By the way, the article made it sound like it was starting to spread around the world. Here's the reality. There is one known case in Sweden and possibly, and I'm using the words from the article, possibly one case in Pakistan. That does not a global pandemic make. The other thing is that Mpox spreads overwhelmingly through physical contact with someone who has the virus and who has lesions on their skin. In other words, you don't have to wonder if they have it. You can tell that they have it. It spreads when you come in physical contact with these lesions. Overwhelmingly, the spread in Central Africa is through sexual transmission, meaning even at the heart of where this disease is spreading, if you're in a monogamous marital sexual relationship or you're just abstinent, you're probably not going to get it. But if I lead an article with a headline that says, Mpox, not as big a deal as we think, Mpox probably not coming to your neighborhood, you're not going to click on it. We have to realize that news agencies are selling us a product, and the product is that we click on their stories. We have to be driven by facts and not by fear. But even as they sell us the fear of pandemic 2.0, we need to realize my second point, which is that we can never again shut the world down. We are more than biology. Various things will at various times threaten us biologically, and those things are serious. And we should do all the practical things we can to limit the spread of disease. But we are also spiritual beings. We are also social beings. We are emotional creatures, and we cannot shut the world down for biological fear that comes at the cost of our emotional health, our mental health, at the progress and development of children. This is where, as Christians, we have to say, hey, let's let facts and a biblical understanding of humanity actually guide our thinking. We are bodies, but we're more than that. So Mpox is really not something to be worried about. But even if it was, let's make decisions based on reality. The reality of who God has made us to be and the reality of what's actually going on in the world. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. While you're here, we'd love to ask you to hit subscribe or to like so you get future content. If you listen to the audio version too, make sure you leave a review and a comment. That really helps. Consider sharing it on social media and helping us get the word out. And hey, while you're here, check out all the other content that Christ Community Chapel is putting out, including the videos that are around me right now.